So, starting the recording, and let's get this show on the road. All right. So, welcome everybody to the Week 2 live session. I'm your host, Chris Newton, for the TEM class. And in this week, Week 2, we're pretty much almost halfway through the entire month. Yay, fast months. This week, we are pretty much going to be covering industry growth and industry terms. So these two assignments are pretty much what you guys are going to be working on. Just keep in mind, hey Seth, how's it going? So just keep in mind that the industry growth, the initial post itself, has to be delivered by Thursday. So please make sure that you are getting that initial post done by Thursday on that. Then, once you finish that post, make sure you come back and reply to at least 4 other people by Sunday. So ultimately, we're looking for at least 5 posts by you on this. The first one is going to be the initial one on Thursday, and then 4 response posts. Just make sure that the response posts are pretty robust as to what you thought about another person's post in the industry growth on that type of stuff. Brianna, should we post as a Word doc or just in the provided box? Just in the provided box. What I would actually recommend, though, is sometimes FSO does some really bizarre things in the posts where it kind of like will stop mid-sentence and then carriage return to another line, and then you keep going. What I would do is just type it in Word first, and then just copy and paste it afterwards, because I don't trust this little discussion post box. Keith, I would probably say utilize the RISE model for this. It isn't mandatory for the class. However, if you really want to get some robust response posts, I would highly recommend using the RISE model on this. Yeah, Courtney. See, that's the one reason why I say I highly recommend doing the post in a Word document first, and then just copy and paste, because that way, if the FSO doesn't take the post, you don't lose everything. And I can admit I have done that myself, where I was typing in feedback and I didn't. I forgot to hit send, and then I went to the next one. I'm like, no, I lost all my the stuff that I was typing. So just be aware of that. So, yeah, you don't want to lose your information. So that's why I say save often and save well, because again, nothing's worse than going 8 hours not saving on your work, and then suddenly, like your computer crashes, and then next you know, you lost everything, and then you have to redo everything. It sucks. Yeah, save as much as you would on an RPG. Yeah, save as you would on everything. Judy, if you saved it as a PDF, that's no problem. It's just if you haven't submitted it yet, you can just use the provided box. But if you want to put it as a PDF, that's pretty easy on that one. Okay, so I just want to make sure that everybody is hitting all of the marks for the initial post itself. So what we're looking at here is the initial post needs to have 5 different things in it. So there's pretty much going to be like 5 paragraphs that you're going to be writing for this. The first paragraph is pretty much just talking about how you view your industry as it is currently in today's day and age. Okay, how do you see your industry as it currently is? Just make sure that you do cite at least one source for this part. Okay, use a cited source to back up the information for that specific post. loot boxes everywhere. Yes. Citation generator, yeah, perfectly fine. I know we do. We want you to put it in APA formatting in this. That's perfectly fine. The source links, you can put those down at the bottom of the post itself, Kevin. So you can easily do it that way. However, just make sure that you're just putting like a little 1 or 2 depending on which source it is on these things. All right. So first paragraph is pretty much going to talk about your entire industry as you currently see it. Okay, so make sure that it is getting fairly specific and detailed as to what it is. I mean, if you want to talk about loot boxes, by all means, it doesn't have to be happy or positive and stuff like that. You can also mix some negative stuff in there as well. It just pretty much how you view your entire industry that you're going into as you currently see it today. All right. Then the second paragraph, the second paragraph is you're going to pretty much take and forecast how your industry is growing in the next 5 to 10 years. Where do you foresee it going in 5 to 10 years? And again, make sure you have at least a cited source for this one as well. All right. So again, just make sure that you're kind of looking at where the industry is going specifically in the next 5 to 10 years. And if all the AAA companies ever had their way, we would be nickeled and dimed to death. But hopefully, we kind of take back our games and stuff like that. Oh, that's cool, Kevin. Me too, John. I do hope loot boxes get. It's pretty much like gambling as it is, giving you a chance of getting something random. Yeah, it's just like walking into Vegas. Well, they're not microtransactions anymore. They're macro transactions with anything above like 15 to 20 cents or 50 cents. It's considered macro transactions at that point. All right. So those are the first two paragraphs. Then the third paragraph is speculation on where you actually see the industry in the next 25 years, pretty much in the 25. And you're also going to be describing how, when you start creating games, how will users consume your media? How will they be able to interact with it and play with it? So ultimately talk about where you think the industry is going to be at in 25 years. Are we going to be wet wired to where we go and do the deep diving a la Sword Art Online or things like that? Or are we going to be completely in the Matrix or what have you? Just go in and kind of speculate where you think it's going to be in 25 years from now. Full dive. Yay, full dive. Well, there is an actual thing that they're trying to start to get some research on how to full dive. It's really, really bizarre reading, but woo! It's just kind of scary when you think about it. So the third paragraph is pretty much just talking about where you think the industry is going to be at in 25 years and how consumers will actually be able to play your media, your products and things like that. So that would be third paragraph. Then the fourth paragraph is pretty much just going to quickly talk about how you're going to move your career forward in the next 5 to 10 to 15 years. Pretty much just kind of look at the questions here. What steps do you plan to get into your 15-year goal? What awards do you want to have achieved? Where do you want to live? And what would your life look like in that type of situation? So ultimately, just quickly talk about that, your career path and your career goals in the fourth paragraph. Yes, Kevin, pretty much short-term, mid-term, and long-term goals. And then the fifth paragraph itself is going into more depth as to what the plan is all about, giving more details, really getting into the meat and potatoes as to how you want your career path to progress. All right. So ultimately, you're going to be looking at 5 complete paragraphs on this. There's really no word count on this, but if you just take a look at the minimum requirements here, it says 5 paragraphs with at least 5 sentences in each paragraph. So just as long as you make sure that each paragraph has some good detail in it and is robust enough so when the instructor actually reads your material, they understand exactly how you took a look at your industry, and it looks like you were knowledgeable in its future. Unionization would be awesome, John, honestly. Kevin, is it okay if I do more than one source per link? Yes, by all means. We're only looking for 2, but if you want to do more, by all means, you can go for more. So that is the specific 5 paragraphs that I'm looking for the industry growth. And then again, just remember, come back and do 4 response posts to other people that have done their initial posts. Just make sure that each reply is at least, a paragraph long containing 5 sentences. Jesse, does E have to be a separate paragraph? Yes, it does. It has to be roughly 5 paragraphs showing. So yes, that one definitely has to be a separate paragraph. So I am going to show you an example. That way you can kind of get a good, clear view as to what we're looking for on this. Now, this is one of my this is an actual student one. They kind of really blew this one out of the water. But as you see, they listed all the different segments in this one, and they pretty much went into fairly good detail. They did some quotes in here. They talked about their industry. Second paragraph, pretty detailed as you see. They're talking about some examples that are in there. The third paragraph on 25 years, they're looking at the computer animation industry in here. They're really talking about how they envision what's going to happen in 25 years. The fourth paragraph, he goes into really good detail as to how he's going to progress on his 5 to 10 to 15 year career goals. And then he just did a quick little summary at the end to kind of flesh it out a little bit more. And then at the end, he put his references. So ultimately, this is the kind of stuff, if you really want to hit the mark. John, depending on who you have, you won't be able to see this. That's why I'm kind of showing this in the GoToTraining, so you can always go back and take a look at this. But ultimately, this is pretty much 100% work right here. Oh, it's okay, Alyssa. So this is pretty much the initial post that I am looking for. Yeah, again, the one thing that I always try to tell all of my students and any student out there is you're really coming here to, learn something, network, and get that piece of paper that tells you, hey, you at least know how to be able to do stuff. But ultimately, why would you kind of waste the time of learning and not actually challenge yourself and really push the boundaries of what you can actually do? And this is the type of stuff that I talk about these are the people that you're seeing that really want to be out there in the industries and push the envelope. And these are the ones that will end up being successful. If you're really not really caring about the material and stuff like that, it's just showing your work ethic to everybody. Courtney, or first let's go with Sean, Seth. I want to make sure that I reference properly. I'm sorry if this was mentioned. Where can I go to see the exact reference format so I can do it properly? Right here. It's pretty much right here. In the industry growth PDF, it's pretty much that. It's pretty much APA formatting. Courtney, if realistically we plan on being an independent worker and not work for just one company, yes, you can talk about any of that specifically. It doesn't have to be focused on a specific company at all. Christopher, should this be turned in as a Word doc, PDF, or etc.? What I would say is just do a post in here. It doesn't have to be in a PDF format. You can just come in here and post. However, don't just start posting in here. Type it in a Word document first and then paste it in here. That way, just in case if FSO freaks out and you lose the post, you won't be able to. You'll still be able to have it on a Word document itself. David, it's just what you think will be happening in 25 years. You don't need a quote on that one specifically. It's just pretty much just saying how do you visualize what's coming up in the 25 years in your industry, and how will consumers actually utilize your products and stuff like that. Yes, unleash the inner futurist in you. So Kevin, can I cover my bases and post it and also have it as a PDF? Yeah, by all means. If you want to just have a backup on there and just say, hey, the PDF is just a backup just in case that the post messed up, by all means. Better safe than sorry. Yes, it's two different sources for the first two paragraphs is pretty much all you'll need for the discussion post. Again, this is pretty much the 100% mark right here. As you see, they go into really good detail on all the different paragraphs in here. Talk about they summarize their plan after they walked me through it for the 5 to 10 to 15 year, and then they put all their citations at the bottom. What did I forget? Oh, it's S rank. No, this is the triple S rank. If you want to add pictures, by all means, Courtney, go for it. I hope not, John. I hope Call of Duty kind of fizzles out because they've already been doing Call of Duty for years, every year, and it's pretty much the same exact thing, except they just put a new coat of paint on it, and it's pretty much it. So, this is pretty much the initial post here. Remember, the initial post is due on Thursday. So, this one will be due on Thursday. Then, make sure you come back after you've done your post, and then reply to 4 classmates from here. All right? Any questions about the industry growth? This one is pretty much fairly straightforward and easy. You're just pretty much going in and writing about, doing some research about your industry and seeing where it goes. Yeah, it's pretty straightforward on this one. 2K games. Yeah, FIFA was actually one of EA's big franchises that really got them off to a good start. But now it's just they're just kind of doing the exact same thing what they do with Madden, NCAA, and all that stuff. Yeah, all you'd really have to do is instead just release the new content as little patches and stuff like that, little DLC content for like $5, and it just updates the rosters and anything like that. I mean, they don't really need to have to build a whole new game for it. Oh, there was one YouTuber that actually spent, I believe it was like $150,000 trying to get a specific skin on CS:GO, and they never did it. So they ended up begging the audience to give him some more money so he could try and get it. Yeah, $150,000. That just shows you the evil inherent in loot boxes. Look at all those Fs. They failed. Yeah, me too, Kevin. I really wish we could just get a full game, but they love sectioning off the games until so they can maximize profit because again, you're paying for the full game, you're just paying them to give the unlock code. And it's just like, wow. All right. So now we roll into the 2.2 industry terms. Now this one is a little convoluted. However, I'm going to be here to make sure that you are getting on the right track on this one. Because there are quite a few different things that you need to have in this one to really make sure it is complete. All right? I won't steer you wrong on this one. But again, I just wanted to let you guys know that this one is definitely fairly comprehensive. All right? So, first part of the actual industry terms itself is you're going to be choosing 7 terms in your degree program based off of the list that we do have. And let's see, I hope this is the updated list. No, it is not the updated list. Oh. So from this list right here, all right, so for those who are in cloud technology and software development, it'll be right here. All right. But here are all the different terms that you can choose from. But for the first part of the assignment, you're going to look for your specific degree program, and then you're going to choose 7 terms from your degree program. And then what you're going to do from there is you're going to go out and take a look at the definition of those terms. Now, keep in mind, I would highly recommend looking at definitions that are coming from actual industry websites instead of just going to dictionary.com. All right? You need to have a variety of different websites that are linking this. Okay? So I would highly recommend going and taking a look at a bunch of different websites that have the term. Because what you can actually do is when you open up a Google thing, you can just type in character rigging. So we can just go in here and just go character rigging definition. And typically what a lot of people tend to go is right up on here, or they just go to dictionary.com. But you can go through all of these different ones to kind of look at and figure that one out. You can even go to like character rigging terminology, and a lot of these different websites will be able to give you a good solid definition for those. But yes, what this assignment is designed to do for you guys is to make you understand all the terminology and lingo. Yes, don't use Wikipedia. Make sure that if you go to Wikipedia, you can use it as a stepping stone, because most of the times they do have references down below, like little resources that you can click on, and that'll take you to actual websites that will have all that information. Somebody's scratching along the walls. I don't want any. Okay. So, it's all right, Camille. It's your squirrel. I know, I'm starting to hear something running around the roof and stuff like that. I'm like, hey! All right. So, all you're going to be doing is looking up 7 terms in your own degree field. All right. Look at the definitions first. And then once you have an idea of what the term means, then you're going to rephrase it in your own words to show that you understand what the actual term means to you. All right? So don't just try and guess what the term means before you go and take a look at the definition. Look at the definition first, interpret it, and then write the definition in your own words from there. If you want to use the ones that you don't know, by all means, because that'll just make you a lot more knowledgeable in your industry itself. Oh, no, Dylan, just your own. You're only going to be doing your own. All right? So once you have done the term in your own words, then you need to go and find a quoted sentence that term is being used in, and pretty much cite that quote. All right? So there's 2 things for each term that you're going to need. A definition in your own words, and then a quote that shows how that term is being used in a sentence. And make sure that you quote it. Texture vector is misspelled? Oh, I'm going to have to pick on Chad for that one, because he's the one that wrote all this stuff down. Texture and vector? Yes, Dylan. This one will be APA as well. As you see, right up here, APA stuff. So again, for the first the 7 terms from your degree, each one should have a definition in your own words and a quoted sentence on how that term is being used in a sentence itself, and then you cite that source where you got that quote from. It is, John. It's ultimately to get you to understand all the different lingo that goes on in your industry itself. So once you have those two, then you're going to go and choose 7 terms from another degree program that is different from your own. Please, please, please don't go into like game art and then go into computer animation and just do the exact same things, because there's like portfolio here, portfolio here. Don't try and match these up so you can just, only do 7. Please do not do that. All right? If you've already used them in your specific degree field, choose things that are different. That is correct, Frederick. The quoted sentence is from a site, not from your own sentence. It has to be a cited quote. So from there, you're going to choose 7 terms from a different degree program and pretty much do the exact same thing that you did for the 7 that you did for your degree field. Go and look at the definitions. Do a definition in your own word, and then find a quoted sentence that utilizes that term in that sentence itself. Seth, now do we have to pick the 7 of a different program, all from the different program, or you can do multiple if you want, but as long as there's 7. You don't have to just stick on one degree. So say for the other 7 you want to go mobile development and web design, by all means. Dylan, the reason for that is just so you can get an idea of the other terms that other industries use. Because, again, even though say you're in game design and you know a lot of these, you're still going to be interacting with a lot of these other degree programs. So it would be beneficial to understand what they're actually talking about. Jesse, so wait, sorry, I had to do something. Are we doing 7 for a degree and then 7 for another? Yes. You are going to do 7 from your degree, and then you can choose 7 from another degree, or you can kind of mix and match. Say 3 from mobile development and 3 or 4 from web design. It's however you want to mix it, but as long as there's 7 from another degree program. 14 terms total, yes. But yeah, the ultimate goal for the other terms is to kind of get you to understand and be fluent in the different degrees that are out there, because you're going to be interacting with them quite a bit. Game art people are going to be looking with computer animation, game design, and game development people. So you're going to need to know at least some of the lingo that they're going to be using with you when they talk about games or technology and stuff like that. Yes, Keith, you're going to be listing the terms that are in your degree program, and just kind of put like computer animation over it if, say, you're in the computer animation department. And then for the terms that are from another degree program, you pretty much just list the industry that you're using the terms for the other degree programs. So let me show you another example here. So what this individual did is they talked about, for computer animation, they did modeling and sculpting. They went into a really detailed definition as to what they thought it was. But then here is their quote, as you see right there. There is the quote. So that's pretty much what we're looking for. And he goes rendering, shaders, vertex, UV coordinate maps, polygons. Ooh, that's a really creepy Iron Man. Texture and painting. And then, as you see, they ended up listing for the other degree program. They went game design, and so they did debugging, frame rate, optimization, source code, game engine, artificial intelligence, and assets. And then obviously they put all of the references down below in APA format. Yes, this is pretty much a very creative use of how to be able to do this assignment. You don't really have to get too fancy. Just remember you have to go in and add pictures, do some formatting, make sure it looks nice and ordered and stuff like that as you're building this out. But ultimately, 7 terms from your degree program, define them in your own words after you do the research as to what the term means, do a quote for that term, a cited quote, and then 7 from another degree program, and pretty much do the exact same thing. And as with everything, please, please, please make sure that you're looking at the rubrics for this, because in the exceptional category, it is telling you specifically what we're looking for. All right? So if you want to get into the exceptional, yeah, the magic number is 7. If you want to do more, by all means, but it just doesn't give you any extra credit or anything. So if you wanted to do all of the terms in your degree program and all the terms in another one, that's the triple S rank, yes. However, it doesn't really get you anything extra. No, Angel, you're not going to cite them word for word. You're going to read the definition, and then you're going to pretty much interpret it in your own words as to what what the definition of the word is to you. Yes, Jesse, that means the quotes. The triple S to the 64th power rank. But yes, this one is pretty straightforward on this one. It's a little convoluted because there's quite a few different parts to this thing, but as long as you remember, there's going to be 14 terms total, 7 from your degree program, 7 from another, or you can mix and match as you wish for the other degree programs. Each term is defined in your own words after you look up the definition that is out there, and then just interpret the definition and put it in your own words, and then have a quote of the term being used in a sentence, and then just kind of prettify it. Put pictures to it, make it look really, really nice and orderly and stuff like that. And ultimately, that's pretty much the assignment in a nutshell. And again, just like for the industry growth as well, just make sure that you're looking at the rubrics for those, because it's fairly laid out on exactly what is needed. So if you do have any questions, that's where I would try to see if you're hitting all the marks for each of these assignments itself. Sega is Nintendo now. Sega has been Nintendo for a while. Yeah, Nintendo has rights to like Sonic the Hedgehog and stuff. It was kind of like under the radar when they actually bought all of Sega's game assets and stuff like that. A new Sonic movie? Oh boy. Sonic Forces? I believe that was Nintendo. That was still when Nintendo was trying to find a footing for Sonic. Oh, there's quite a few movies that are coming out that just look really bizarre that when they're trying to translate them to games from games. It's just bleh. Yeah. So, does anybody have any questions about the 2.2 industry terms assignment? The Pikachu detective, yeah. I looked at that and I was like, oh boy. I thought Warcraft was alright. You could actually see that they kind of took liberties as to the storyline, but it was alright. It was okay to watch. Yeah, Blizzard should have actually made that, but they really wanted to go with an outsource one, so the CG people in Blizzard, they were probably too busy cranking out games like Diablo Immortal. Oh yeah, Netflix with Death Note. Yeah. All right, let's see. Yeah, we went right into movies and stuff. It's great. All right, so is there any other questions about the either assignment, the 2.1 or the 2.2 for this week? Yeah, again, they're not hard. Don't overthink these assignments. Um, Again, the more in depth one is the 2.2 assignment. It has a lot of parts to it. Just make sure that you are reading through all the different steps, because it's the most common one that I tend to see that is missed is getting that quoted sentence and putting it in there. That is usually the most common one that I see that is missed. And yes, time management is definitely key. Camille, I do for 2.1. Do you have an example of the discussion post? Yep, sure do. Here is the example of the discussion post. This one is pretty much really, really in depth. And as you see, he broke it down into all the different parts of the initial post. And yes, there are 5 different parts. So there's going to be 5 paragraphs for this. And each one should go into fairly good detail as to how you see the industry currently in 5 to 10 years, 25 years. Talk about your career goals in 5 to 10 to 15 years, and then summarizing how you'll actually get there. Kind of go in a little bit more detail as to that. But ultimately, this is the initial post, and this one does have to be due on Thursday. That really depends, Camille. All I would do is just type in, you know, whichever your degree program is and start going. You can even use some of the websites that we used in week 1 if you want to, and that'll usually get you to where you need to go. And I saw another question. Let's see. Okay. For 2.2 and recommendations for the formats, I was going to use Google Docs and Sheet and submit it as a PDF. Kevin, that is perfectly fine. If you want to go and do that on Google Docs, that's perfectly fine. Another example is people actually going in and using like Google Slides or PowerPoint and Keynote and then converting that. I've seen people do it that way. So each slide had a term on it, and they were able to spruce it up from there. So you can actually do that type of stuff if you want. David, can we use the same website for more than one definition and source? I would try and keep it to at least no more than the same source for 2 terms, because we do want you to have a kind of a variety in there. So you just don't go to one website and do all the terms on one website. We want you to kind of branch out and see more stuff. No, Kevin. Remember, it does have to be in a PDF format, but you can build out the slides and then just save it as a PDF and then turn it in. But yeah, for the sources themselves, no more than one source for 2 terms. Again, it's the reason is we want you to go out and really start delving into the different websites and stuff to look up these terms instead of just going to like dictionary.com and try to do them all on that one site, because you're really not expanding your horizons and taking a look at what all the different websites in your industry have in them. That's perfectly fine, Jimmy. If you did it where it was 1 term per page, yeah. Is there a specific way? It's just primarily you go through and read the posts that other people have done. So, say for Eric right here, what you would end up doing, good post. What you would end up doing is you would hit reply, and then after you've read through their material, you would hit reply, and then do a good solid post. Remember, at least 5 sentences talking about what you thought about their post, what was interesting about it, and stuff like that. No, John, you don't do a good post. That will instantly be, yep, that's not enough information. And it's the same thing is, even though we say 5 sentences, it doesn't mean, good post, I like the content, it was great, good job on it, I will talk to you again later. That doesn't give me any information as to what you actually thought about the person's post that you responded to. Make sure that you go into good detail on it. Really understand what they're talking about in their post, and when you give your feedback on it. Yes, this one is actually a good post right here. This is a really good post. It goes into detail and everything. So this one would be a good example as well. So Eric, if you're watching, good post. Yeah, achievement unlocked. Da 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 da. All right. So any other questions to the? Okay, I see Brianna here. One. For the 2.2 terms, for the term character rigging, is it okay I use if our quotes just uses the word rigging? Yeah, it's character rigging and rigging are pretty much one and the same thing. So yes, if it's just rigging, that's perfectly fine. And Jesse, so for 2.1, we don't have to submit PDF. Yes, you don't have to submit it as a PDF. You can just type it in Word and then copy and paste it right into the post, into the discussion post box. No, John, definitely not similar to the rigging of a ship. Rigging is making the actual skeleton that gets put inside of a character to be able to move the character around, for the animators to go in and actually make it do some crazy stuff. Yeah, got to make those bones. No bones about it. Think of it like scaffolding. You're very welcome, Francisco. I know, John. All right. Taylor, do we have attendance checks for these webinars? No. There is no attendance check, mainly because people have busy lives, and if they can't make it here, say because they're working or they have family engagements and stuff like that, we don't do any attendance on this. Though we do encourage you, if you can't make the live session, to at least watch the recorded session, so you're up to date as to what the assignments are going on about. Yeah, these things, again, I tend to focus these live sessions more on talking about the assignments themselves, because, again, It's more along the lines of making sure that you all have a good idea of how to be able to pass the assignments and succeed in the class itself. Well, thank you, John. I'm glad you approve. It only took me 11 years to be able to get this wonderful radio voice. Oh, I agree, David. I highly enjoy interacting with students because, again, ultimately, we're all just technology geeks and gamers and stuff like that, and I love mixing it up and talking about my favorite hobby. Oh, I actually do have like a voice changer and stuff like that. Well, Angel, I also used to stream quite a bit on games, so I got like the little boom mic and all that good stuff. So, yeah, I got the setup. This one's a condenser microphone that I got from Amazon. It's the Yeti, the Snowball Yeti. Yeah, it doesn't really make it sound very good because they're just using their laptops. Yeah, I have 6 monitors here. Each one has a different thing going on it. I am pretty much a major technology geek. So yeah, I got my Rift hooked up. I have 6 monitors. I got all the good stuff. So it's great. Yeah, Camille. I pretty much play all the games on my 32-inch monitor, and then all the other monitors that are around it pretty much are like going online, taking a look at what's going on, looking at chat and stuff like that. John, I do try to stream when I can, but usually since I'm still in the mobile dev program, it does kind of limit that quite a bit. But sometimes I actually go in and stream and play some games for a little bit. I actually play. I do play Fortnite, but it's not the battle royale version. I play the normal one where you build, go and do all the little fight the storm. What have I been playing recently? Diablo 3 again. I have another person that we're going through season 16, and I'm also doing We Are Billions, and I still get crushed in that thing. I'm still trying to figure out a better way to figure that out. Kingdom Hearts, no, I haven't played that yet. I am playing the Resident Evil 2 remake as well. That's some good stuff. As you see here, I've been doing They Are Billions. The Resident 2, I've already put like 5 hours into that. They did just update Astroneer. I went and took a look at that. So I played quite a few. Right now in Diablo 3, I'm using Monk because that's usually my best thing. Smash, yep, I do have that on Switch. But yeah, that's some pretty good stuff. So just really quick, anybody have any final questions for the 2.1 or the 2.2 assignment? Or does everybody think they got it and it's good? Yeah, Thursday night the initial post is due. Cool, cool. So that is pretty much it for the live session. I can actually stop the recording and then we can chat about some games and stuff and whatnot. That's pretty cool. But for those, I do wish you all a wonderful evening. And again, just make sure that you're reaching out to your instructor if you do have any future questions. And the archive itself will also be put up in the announcement section or however your instructor actually delivers it to you. But for those who are in my sections, you will be seeing it up in the announcement section tomorrow. Yes, Kevin, I am just the video session instructor. I do have my own sessions that I grade. However, this month I am taking over as the voice chat extraordinaire for TEM. That's cool. Yes, Camille. I'm going to drop my email again. Send me a message on that, and then I can give you some of the details as to what I have. Yeah, it's pretty much there. I got like the center stand that's holding up the 5 monitors, and then I have my 32-inch monitors stuck right in the center. Have a good one, Andre.